First of all, I just want to thank all of you for coming to share in this celebration of Don's life. And it truly is a life to be celebrated. As Tom had mentioned, Don had a free spirit, and not a free spirit in that his head was in the clouds and very aloof. He was very much grounded to this earth and nature and what it had to offer him, but a free spirit in that he would do whatever the wind took him, where he wanted to go. An example of this is back when he was living on Walnut in Montclair. He woke up one morning and said, I'm going to go for a walk, as he did very often. But it wasn't just a walk down to the corner to have a cup of coffee. He wanted to get together with his buddies. And it wasn't just a walk from Montclair over the mountain some 5 miles to Cedar Grove to meet up with his buddies. He decided to take a walk to meet up with Tommy and Carol, who were out in Morristown. So we ventured out for a 20-mile walk that day just to meet up with them. And this very much was Don. He just did what he wanted to do. And very much the same way, much years later when he decided, I'm going to venture out, and it was a venture out to the West Coast, as Robert had indicated. Just got out there, stuck out his thumb, and headed west for an adventure. And that adventure took him from the West Coast up north. He met up with Cherie, the love of his life. And together, they finally got Don to plant his feet in the ground and stay put in Portland, Oregon. He raised a lovely family and was able to carry out a great life. I'd say two of his most important things to him was fishing and family. Going out and fishing whenever he could, and those Sunday dinners where he would cook for his family, and they would share time eating. And as the family grew older and they kind of ventured out, they still would come flocking back in on those Sunday dinners, and they would share that time together. And that was wonderful for them. And I have a lot of regrets not sharing times with Don, being out there on the West Coast, but I don't want to put a cloud on this as far as regrets go, because again, it is a celebration of his life. As we go on today, I want us all to share these stories with one another, remember the times we had, and bring them back in each other's memories. And those of you not within the inner circle of friends of Don's, they got to carry the caveat: some of these stories, these are not to be attempted by you. It's really a miracle that we were able to survive through our childhood days to become the responsible adults that we are now. But Don truly had a guardian angel watching over him and carrying him through his life, even in his final days when he was diagnosed with this horrible disease. He didn't misstep. He had somebody watching over him because he was able to go to work. He was able to share time with his family, and his thoughts were, as long as I feel well, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to keep, plugging forward. And he did. And that was a glorious way to live. And then when he was finally called to go home at the end and be carried, it was quick. It was quick for him, and that was a blessing. And we're all, that much sadder for him not being here. But I just ask that each of you carry a piece of his life in your hearts and know him and celebrate that. And in that way, he'll always be alive and be here with us. Again, just thanks for coming out, and let's support each other, and peace and love to you. Thank you.
Now's the time that if anyone wants to share a story about Don or a remembrance, but I'm going to start it off with 2 scary pages of ramblings of Don, in no particular order. When he hitchhiked to California, he ended up with more money than he started with. He planted trees for the Forest Service along the way. They forwarded him a check out to California when he got there. He likes local strawberries, you know, the kind that are red all the way through. He doesn't understand the concept of catch and release. He didn't know how to throw a trout back. He likes buttermilk. He could eat a smoked trout for breakfast. Everyone loved his Sunday dinners. He was a better Dungeness crabber than a salmon fisher. It took me years to figure that one out, and me. He once stole a campfire. It was lit. Some of us are here to remember that. Don tried to talk me into climbing Mount Hood a couple years ago. And, well, we settled on hiking up maybe for about a mile or so and then having lunch in the Timberline Lodge. But he was serious about that at the time. He let me hug him the last dozen years after him spending summers in Woodstock. Don was probably the first person to drive on Route 84 in Pennsylvania. The road was closed, and when we got to our exit, there wasn't an exit. We pushed the Volkswagen van up the hill. There should be a plaque there today, but there's not. When he wasn't trout fishing in the mountain lakes, he was sturgeon fishing in the Columbia River in the Willamette. I don't have to tell you, he was a great father. And he told me when he was moving to Oregon from California that he'd be rich with his California paycheck up in Portland. He was going to be a millionaire. Well, he was rich with family. Money, maybe not so much, especially with 4 kids. Don always bought his cars from Danny, his mechanic and fishing buddy. I lived my college experience through Don at Monmouth College. Sorry about that, Mr. and Mrs. Euchre.
I know all about that.
Don loved Ballantine Ale. Don loved Cherie's wife. Maybe I should have got that mixed up in order there. Maybe I should have said that first. Back in the 80s, I borrowed his pickup truck for a couple days of fishing when Don was out working and I was out fishing. But he had the cassette, Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska. Who knew that Don would be listening to Bruce Springsteen out there? It's crazy. John told me a story, which I don't remember, that we were fishing in Pennsylvania, no, in New York State a couple of years ago, that Don pulled a trout out of his pocket by the campfire. I wish I went to Don and Cherie's wedding. Back then I didn't realize that we could just travel cross country for friends' weddings. When I visited Don out west, I played the little brother role, and Don became Jonathan's uncle. In closing, the fish in Oregon are safer today. And when Don put his thumb out on Route 80 some years back, he was truly bound for glory. I love you, Don. Thanks. If anyone wants to stand up in your chair, or from your chair, and say anything about Don, welcome, or come up here, whatever you want to do.
I'll talk right here.
Thank you.
I used to live for many years next to the Euchre family, and I knew all the boys and so forth. Eric, how are you? Back in 1969, on a Sunday, I managed to get 4 baseball tickets to a doubleheader at the Shea Stadium. And I took my son and I told him to get 2 boys. Maybe you remember this, Robert.
Yeah.
So we picked Robert and another friend. And before we left, Donald came over to me and asked if I had any tickets, extra tickets. And I said, no. He said, can you take me to Shea Stadium? I'll get in and I'll see the game. I said, okay, it's a sellout though. It doesn't matter, I'll see the game. So we get over there, sure enough, it's a sellout. I just tell them to meet me at this spot at the end of the game. We go in and we're sitting there, and about the middle of the game, the 5th inning or so, I start to, I wonder where this boy is now. So I start wandering around. My eyes go past the bullpen in left field into the parking lot. And there were the buses all lined up. And in the first row, standing on top of this bus, was was Donald. He saw the first game. So, at the end of the first game, he disappeared. I didn't see where he went or anything. He told me later what he did was he left the bus and went and stood in front of one of the entrances. And sure enough, a man came out, leaving early, very early, and Donald asked the man for his stuff, for his ticket, not knowing where he was sitting or anything. The man gave him the stuff. He went in, and Donald sat in the box seat first row. That's the fourth word. I'll never forget that. Maybe you
Great
remember.
story. Great story. Anyone else?
I'm watching the boys play the guitars up there, and go back to memories when we used to go up to the farm. And I'm thinking about, I was working at Hunt's gas station at the time, and Spanky comes in with his 64 Chevy, and he says, "We're going up to the farm, you coming up?" I said, "I hadn't planned on it." I said, "I got no place, nowhere to stay or do anything." He said, "Come with us." I says, "Who's going?" He says, "Me and Don Euchre and Kevin Reamer and Fluff." And he says, "Come on with us." All right, so you guys, of course, the obligatory 6-pack between us to go up. And we're driving up, and we get on Route 81, going up by Binghamton up there. It's foggy. You can't even see anything. Spanky goes, over the mechanic, "I just got these new fog lights I put in. These things are super powerful, man. This is going to be great." So he throws the switch here. Boom, we could see everything. And all of a sudden we could see there was a fire in the car. Just smoke pouring out from underneath the dashboard. So instead of us like saying like maybe we should pull over, no, all the boys, you know, little budding firemen that we were, I guess, or something, shake up the beers. So we put the fire out, and then we drove with no headlights up to the rest of the There's always, that was just one that always stayed in my mind.
Anyone else?
I have one.
Come on, Kat.
Don was always an adventurer, we all know that, and I had one time, one of the trips out to California, I was, we were driving cars that you can drive for somebody, so that way they pay, I guess, for the gas. I can't quite remember the details, but it was something that was done years ago, and so I guess there was like 4 of us, headed out there, my husband John and Don and I think Chris Warnley, I think someone else, but I can't remember. But we're heading out, and somewhere in the car Don was in I think our car, John and me, and I had my bird, Gustav, in a cage, a bird cage. But I just couldn't imagine this bird having to be in the cage the whole time. So I let it out in the car so it could be free. And Don kind of he got that, you know, it was okay. But we pulled in for gas, and it was freezing cold. It was, we wanted to make it out there, I think, by New Year's or something. So it was freezing cold, and we were out somewhere in some state, and freezing, getting gas. We opened the door, and the bird got out. And it was there was a field, I mean, where this gas station was, it was just, you know, big field and woods and everything. Gustav, oh, my bird got it. John was really mad. Oh, I can't believe you did this. Don, let's go. He starts charging down the hill, and we looked for a long time for this bird. And I finally felt so bad. I just was so embarrassed. I said, forget it. It's okay. There's nothing we can do. We got to get out to California. No. I think I hear it. And sure enough, Don's looking around. There it is, this little parakeet. And we got I run down with my cage, and we get the bird in. Kara, I think I don't know, but I think you may have given us that bird. I can't remember. But anyway, Don really was the spirit that got that bird back for me. And that bird came out to California with me. And from that point on, I think, we just lived for the weekends. Don always had some adventure that we would go on. And that was just one of my stories that reminds me of Don. He was sweet, didn't give up hope, and right into the end. Every time I went out there, it was just like time hadn't passed. And I think you would all feel the same way. And he made great pea soup. Either that or I was really hungry because it took so long. But it was amazing to be out there. It just felt like you were hanging out at the Euchers. And I just, he's just one of those free spirits, Tom, as you said. And these adventures always reminded me of that. So thanks, Don.
Anyone else? Okay, well, we got the rest of the afternoon. Rob, I think it's time for a song.
We went out, Eric and myself, and met Laura, and we got to see Don on his last week, and it was truly a blessing. It was a gift of God. Don held on, I think, for us to get there. When we left on a Wednesday, and it was like his last days, and we talked to the rest of the family and said, be strong and stick together, and it's going to be okay. And then we left. And then I was just waiting for the call because I knew it was within a couple of days. And the next day, my niece Gracie, his daughter, texted me on the phone, which I'm not big on texting, but she said, we're all okay. And Don is resting peacefully. And I texted her back and I said, God bless you all, be strong. And Jesus is waiting for Donald. We knew it was his last days. And Jesus was waiting for her to take him home. And the next week, I'm delivering the mail. I don't know if you know, I'm a mailman, 32 years. I'm walking down the street, and these words came into my mind, and basically the text of it was Jesus is waiting, and all these verses were coming to me, and I just, it was amazing. And I wrote a song, and this is the first time it's being heard, so have patience and be kind. But this is the song that I wrote that came into my mind. It was an inspiration from God, and it's called Jesus is Waiting. We'll do 8 measures intro. Jesus is waiting, his arms open wide. Jesus is waiting, the Father beside. Jesus is waiting, his words are all true. Jesus is waiting for me and for you. Jesus. is waiting his love to outpour. Jesus is waiting our souls secure. Jesus, oh Jesus, hold me by my name. Jesus, oh take away my pain. Jesus, you are compassion and truth. Jesus, your blood on the cross is the proof. Jesus, come near us in blood and in wine. Jesus, your grace and your healings divine. With you Jesus, please listen, I'm bending the knee. Jesus, please hear as I pour out my plea. Jesus, I'm sorry for the sins I have done. Jesus, salvation on the cross has been done. Jesus, oh Jesus, I'm knocking at your door. Jesus, oh Jesus, with you Jesus, the course of my life has been run. Jesus, my guide, my deeds are now done. Jesus, I know that you always care. Jesus, my Lord, you help me to bear. Jesus, oh Jesus, I can see your face. Jesus, oh Jesus, how warm is your embrace.
Thank you, guys. Want to lead us in something, Tom? You have a prayer for us?
Yeah.
First time that the song's been played.
We're going to close the service with a prayer. The prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me a channel of your peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love. That where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness. That where there is discord, I may bring harmony. That where there is error, I may bring truth. That where there is doubt, I may bring faith. That where there is despair, I may bring hope. And where there are shadows, that I may bring light. And where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is only by self-forgetting that one finds, and only by forgiving that one is forgiven, and only by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen.
Before we close, after our service is over, we're going to set up some tables, and hopefully you all stay and we share some food and some drink and memories of Don. And we have a slideshow prepared by Don's kids. I believe that we showed at the West Coast service 2 Sundays ago. And can someone get the tape rolling there? And these are, I believe, Don's favorite candy. On Saturday when he used to go food shopping, he used to buy these. Now, I don't know if he just did it for me, because I work for Pepsi-Cola, but these are cola-flavored candies. So share some of it. It was either this or I was going to offer you buttermilk. I figured I'd go with the candy. So pass them among your friends. This bag would be on the kitchen table, would be gone by the nighttime. Maybe skip a row here.
You don't want to run that on here.
Huh?
You don't want to run the other side here too, do you?
No, no.
No, they already saw that.
Hey folks, we got a video presentation.
And I have no excuse other than I was too hungover.
Amazing song.
Good song?
Amazing song.
Isn't it?
Not good, it was amazing.
Good job, sir.